Never assume that loud is strong or quiet is weak. It's often the other way around.
Hello all, and welcome to Raw Cognizance. This will be the first time I have spoken freely on the United States 2024 election between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. I have been talking about this on TikTok for the last month or so, and unfortunately, I've had to speak in code because those videos were getting suppressed and taken down. Now that I see that I have a YouTube channel that's gotten a following and a lot of people that feel the exact same way, that feel like something is off about the election, why not start talking about it here? And so most of you found me through TikTok. Some of you have found me through the YouTube algorithm. First off, welcome. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for watching this video. I am curious to know how you felt. Please leave me your thoughts down below. So let's get right to it. No, I don't think Donald Trump won this fair and square. I do think our process, our election process was compromised. Period. Point blank. And I think there are tons of signs that point to that. The main one that I am going to point to is that the math isn't mathing. This is a very strong, very famous TikTok, I say, trend. It was very strong when the election first ended, like a month ago, November 6th, around that point. A lot of people started coming out with the math isn't mathing videos. But then TikTok started to suppress them. And now, a month later, they're starting to reemerge again because the math still doesn't math. Hakeem Jeffries recently came out and talked about this in a press conference.
And in Arizona, Donald Trump wins somewhat convincingly at the presidential level. But Ruben Gallego is on his way to the United States Senate. Same day, same set of voters, same election. There were 6 battleground states that had statewide elections outside of the presidential election. Democrats swept 5 and only lost in Pennsylvania. That doesn't sound to me like we need a complete makeover. Thanks, everyone.
Democrats won everything down the ballot. They won the Senate, they won the House, local government positions, all of it down the ballots in all the swing states, except for one. Donald Trump won the top of the ticket. Kamala Harris lost, but Dems won everything else. Now, let me ask you this, because we're so divided, politically we are divided beyond measure. What world do you live in where all of a sudden we finally decide, especially us Dems, to compromise on who should be our president? So we all literally voted our party lines except for the top of the ticket. When Kamala Harris, in my personal opinion, has ran one of the best campaigns out of anybody since I've been alive. How about that? Since Obama. This woman was selling out arenas. She was going across the nation. 20,000, 30,000, 50,000, 75,000 people. She energized the constituent. And for some reason, that didn't show up in the numbers. She had Republicans, former presidents, people in power saying they were going to support, endorse Kamala. The former VP, Mike Pence, endorsed Kamala Harris. Kamala had the backing of people that you usually wouldn't even see support Biden, let alone Obama and Hillary. I am very surprised that there weren't people who were voting Kamala at the top of the ticket and then red down. That is what I thought we were going to get. But instead, the opposite happened. Millions of people, based off of these results that I'm seeing, if this is true, picked Donald Trump and then went blue down the ballot. Now, who do you know in their right mind would pick Donald Trump and then go blue down the ballot? Do you know anybody? Because I don't. Because I would think, hell, if I'm voting Donald Trump, I might as well go red all the way. All Republican. 90% of Americans vote one side down the ballot, all Republican or all Democrat. They don't go across the aisle. Some of the times. There are some people that like to, all right, this Republican's cool, we'll pick him, but for the most part, we'll go Democrat or vice versa. I'm not saying you can't split ticket. And I'm not saying that doesn't happen. But for this to be possible, for the numbers to be possible, it would require millions of voters to pick Donald Trump and go blue down the ballot. For the Democrats to sweep 6 to 5 swing states down the ballot but lose the top of the ticket. That doesn't make any sense to me. And what really bothers me is what's happening in North Carolina. Look at the North Carolina numbers. The Democratic governor in North Carolina got 3 million votes, while Kamala Harris got less. This is a pattern that's noticeable across all the swing states. Check out these numbers. There is a clear, noticeable gap between Donald Trump's votes and the governor and Senate votes on the same ballot. Look at these differences. North Carolina, 650,000 between Donald Trump and Mark Robinson. And the others are over 100,000. That just sounds like, to me, Trump inflated his numbers somehow. How counterproductive is that? To have a Democratic governor but then pick Donald Trump. Why would you do that? None of that makes any sense. I don't think that happened. Because for that to be possible, the logic is that they believe Donald Trump would be a better president as a Republican who has told you he wants to literally destroy and cut everything that Democrats stand for. But then you want to pick people who doesn't even align with what he wants. Donald Trump made his career off of lying and cheating, which makes me believe that he would do it again here. He did it in 2016. That's a fact. Russia interfered in the 2016 election. It's a report out. Go look at it. Donald Trump has pillaged, plundered, cheated, scammed people for decades. And you're honestly expecting me to believe that he didn't try something now, when he had everything to lose. If he didn't become president, he was going to jail. And I honestly think he ran to not go to jail. That man didn't even try during his campaign. When he was running a campaign, quote unquote campaign, he wasn't even selling out his own rallies. People weren't even showing up. And if they did show up, they left early. Kind of reminds me of what happened in Romania. Do you guys know anything about what happened in Romania? Well, Romania had their own election. Same thing. Another conservative candidate. No one knew about him. Complete unknown. All of a sudden, when it came time for the election, he sweeps everything. Come to find out, yeah, that election was compromised in Romania. Look it up. And check this out. He used TikTok to do it. Same thing happened in Georgia. Not the state, but the country, Georgia. They had a candidate over there who also cheated, who also compromised their process. The difference between Romania and Georgia and us, those two said, nah, we're not going to sit on this. Georgia went on strike. They hit the streets, and their president in Georgia said, I'm not going nowhere until we fix what's going on here. Romania reversed the decision, threw out the results, and now they're going to do their process over again. Love that. Here, we just go along with it. I guess he's just going to get in anyways, right? Even if it is proven that he's cheating, or he cheated, oh well, he's just going to get in anyways. If he gets sworn in, and word comes out that he did cheat, trust me when I say this, that's not going to go well. People are already restless. Have you not seen the reactions to what happened to that CEO, the United Healthcare CEO, online? I won't say people are celebrating. Some are. But for the most part, no one gives a fuck. No one cared. If anything, they all feel like that's just a natural progression of things. That is the natural progression of things, because the little man is being made to feel smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. And what ends up happening? They revolt. He's a known cheater, and he doesn't mind cheating. So if you honestly think that this man is going to play by the rules, or has been playing by the rules, that's something that needs to be proven. Currently, if you haven't been following us on TikTok, there are things in place, safeguards in place to make sure he doesn't do that. There is this order currently in effect called Executive Order 13848, which means every election has to go through a process. There has to be vetting to make sure that there was no interference. And they have, I think, 45 days, if not 40 days, after November 5th to do the investigation. But then they have a certain amount of days after that to do something about it. Because remember, he's not going to get sworn in until January 20th. And then he won't be certified until January 6th. So there's a lot of time for things to happen. And currently, the Democratic Party is very quiet. You notice that, right? They're just kind of letting it all happen, not saying anything, almost like they've given up and have conceded to his rule, right? I think this is why. I think they are quietly working behind scenes, gathering their evidence, because they know if they come out and just say, he cheated, they sound like him. They don't want to sound like him. They're better than him. They're better than QAnon. QAnon stormed the Capitol. We're not going to storm the Capitol. We're going to use facts, logic, history, and math. Because when you have a problem, when you present a problem, you can't just say, this is what happened. No, you have to tell them, here's what happened, here's how it happened, and here's what we're going to do to fix it.
What happens when the other side has repeatedly and abundantly made clear they are not interested in playing by the rules? It's a problem. And when that happens, we fight for what we believe in. There are going to be times, potentially, when one side tries to stack the deck and lock in a permanent grip on power, either by actively suppressing votes or politicizing the armed forces or using the judiciary, the criminal justice system to go after opponents. And in those circumstances, pluralism does not call for us to just stand back and say, well, I'm not sure that's okay. In those circumstances, a line has been crossed, and we have to stand firm.
What went wrong? How did Democrats get shown the door so badly? What would you have done differently than perhaps Ms. Harris or Mr. Walz did not do?
I appreciate it, and I hope you can appreciate if I appear a little political, it's because I'm intentionally trying to be by not answering your question. And what I mean by that is I'm with Jon Stewart, who wisely said, be patient. What happened will be revealed. And it won't be revealed in the hours and days and weeks and even months after an election. That will absorb a deeper understanding over time. And that's the approach I'm taking. I wrote out, I'm not making this up, there's about 6 pages I have in notes. They're at my mother and dad's grave in the car of everybody's punditry that completely contradicts everyone else's punditry about what happened. And I did that purposely for my own absorption and edification, that it will reveal itself. I don't have a clear answer to it, and so as a consequence, I won't attempt to answer it.
They have to get all those ducks in a row and then bring it to the forefront and then say, here's what he did. Nothing they can say about it. They want to be sure that when they come out and say this man cheated, they have everything already in hand. So until then, they're just going to basically go along with the process. But it's funny, like back in 2020, when it was clear that Biden won fair and square, this man took the Dems to court 60 times. He asked for recounts, 3 recounts, 1 by hand. And it was proven that the Dems won. Biden won fair and square. Now, we have an opportunity to do exactly that. And it would be justified. But the Dems aren't. They're just kind of just sitting back letting it happen. They want to be sure that they have their ducks in a row because they don't want to sound like QAnon. And so I do hope something is going on behind scenes, but do know that this is temporary, because I hear you guys calling me Blue Anon, and I wear that with pride, by the way. This is temporary. We get to January 20th, I guess he won fair and square. And even if he didn't, they didn't do anything about it. But that's January 20th. It is currently December 15th. I got plenty of time. So yes, I do think something is afoot. Seeing how Russia is interfering with all these other countries across the world, why wouldn't it be logical to think that Russia didn't interfere with this one? They've done it before. They probably did in 2020. And the reason why Trump is so mad that he lost is because he tried to cheat in 2020 and it didn't work. Biden beat him that badly. And now here in 2024, he tried it and he succeeded. Too well. Way too well. He won all 7 swing states. All 7 swing states? While again, losing down the ballot to Democrats. Which means people picked him and voted blue down the ballot. Which again, I don't know anybody that's done that. I seriously doubt that many people, millions of people did that. But it's funny to me, it's one thing for me to say it. But now you have experts saying it. Stephen Spoonermore is a computer hacking expert. He talked about it. Jackie Singh, the cybersecurity expert that worked with Biden and Harris, she talked about it. She released a full report, her findings on X, and hopefully she'll release it on Blue Sky and her website soon. Basically saying, yeah, Russia interfered. And again, I did a video on it. It's 3 minutes long. But these are experts saying it. I'm not saying it. These are people who literally spend their entire careers for this stuff, for election interferences. And now you got the lawyer of Kamala Harris, Mark Elias, working on, and I think this number is correct, 53 lawsuits in 20 states when it comes to the election cycle. 53 lawsuits. Some people will say, well, maybe he was working on that before the election. All 53? All of them? Are you sure? Maybe there are some that was going on before the election. I'll give you that. All 53 though? No, sir. You've seen many people come out and suggest we have a forensic audit and a recount. Now, I do believe at some point they are going to have to do that. To once again confirm if he did win fair and square, then it wouldn't matter if they did a forensic audit and a recount, because it would just prove that he won fair and square, right? But I think the reason why they haven't done that or aren't doing that yet is because if something did happen, there needs to be an investigation from the FBI, the CISA. People are saying Starlink. I don't know about Starlink. That one is a bit of a reach for me, but Elon Musk is clearly involved. That part is clear. You got a man spending $250 million, an unlimited amount of money for his campaign, backing him, walking around with him. 2 peas in a pot, 2 narcissists. That makes sense. But you got Elon Musk walking around. It's clear that he's involved. If there was some interference, you know damn well Elon Musk was involved in that, which wouldn't surprise me. But yeah, if you are somebody like me that has felt like something has been off with this entire election since it happened, you are not alone. You are not crazy. And don't you let anyone gaslight you into thinking you're crazy. A lot of people, especially here on YouTube, are going to do that. They're going to tell you to give up. You lost. Don't. Here's what you do. You tell them, okay, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens on January 20th. We'll see. And leave them alone. Because you have the higher ground regardless. You're not going to go storm the Capitol. You're using logic, facts, history, and math to go, this doesn't make any sense. Please look into it. That's all you're doing. And you should do that. Especially involving Donald Trump, who cheats at everything that he's done to get to where he is. And now all of a sudden, the one thing he wins fairly happens to be that one election that could determine whether he goes to jail or not. No, I don't believe it. They're going to have to prove to me that he did not cheat, because I think he cheated. And I'm not the only one. And I think you believe me too. So there you go. I have spoken freely about how I feel. Let me know down below how you feel. For real. Let me know how you feel about all of this. I hope something is being done. I couldn't tell you because I'm not the one working behind scenes, but I do believe the Democrats' reputation is on the line here. If they let this man get into office, if they literally hold him by the hand and walk him into that seat without any fight, I do not believe anybody will ever vote for a Democrat ever again. I think that will be the end of the party. Because they would be complicit. They would be complicit. What they need to do is prove to their constituent that this man won fair and square. If he did win fair and square, prove it. Then after proving it, then we can talk about, okay, back to square one. Let's put our heads down. Let's put our pencils down. Go back to work. And we can discuss where we go in the future. Right? Then we can talk about 2026, 2028. But before we get to that, let's talk about 2025. And let's make sure that this election process was done fair and square. Because right now, I can't be the only person that believes the liar lied and the cheater cheated. Thank you for watching.